Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the TheEdB0ys, and welcome to our RuneScape 2007 1 to 99 Magic Guide. The goal of this guide is to give all of you some good information on how to train your magic to 99. Keep in mind this isn't the only way to train your magic by any means, it's just my preferred method. I'm going to start with an optimal chain of methods that gets you to 99 quickly, and then I'll give a couple of alternative methods to train and some money makers that can get you some magic XP. Before we jump into the guide, let's talk about splashing, as you're going to need to understand it for a couple of the methods used. When you use a magic spell, it does not have a 100% chance of actually landing a hit. When your magic spell doesn't do anything, you still get base XP for it though, and this is normally referred to as splashing. To guarantee your character splashes, you can wear any type of armor that gives you a negative 65 magic offensive bonus or less. Here's a cheap and simple armor setup that will do the job. Now that you know how to splash, let's jump into the leveling guide. From levels 1 to only level 3, you're going to use the Wind Strike attack spell because it's the only option you have. You could choose to splash this, so you only have to fight one monster to do it, but with such a low amount of XP to get from level 1 to 3, it really doesn't make much of a difference. Here are 3 of the best options for splashing though. The most common one would be the Monk locked up in Varrock Palace. There's also a Bear just behind Varrock Palace. And on the top floor of the Wizard Tower, which is south of Draenor Village, there is a caged Lesser Demon that you can also fight. From levels 3 to level 25, you're going to use the Confuse, Weaken, and Curse spells. You do want to make sure that you have your splashing armor on for this stage, because if you begin to weaken any type of monster below a certain percent, you can't use the spell on them anymore until their levels go back up, so it's better to splash and not actually be able to use the weaken effect, so you can just use the spell over and over and over again. Continue to cast all 3 spells, whichever one you can use depending on your level, until you reach level 25 magic. Since these do require earth and water runes, it's pretty simple to just use a Mud Staff to make it a lot easier. From levels 25 to 55, you're going to start using teleport spells. I'd briefly like to at least mention that making teleport tabs instead of just using the spells, it gets you the same amount of XP per spell, and you make a pretty good amount of money for it, and it's very AFK. You get a little bit less XP per hour because you do have to take some time to grab some soft clay from your butler and whatnot, but you actually get to make some money and it's still good magic XP. It does require some construction levels depending on which teleport you are making though, so keep that in mind. At level 25, you can use the Varrock teleport spell. Just continue to teleport over and over again until you reach 31 for the Lumbridge teleport, then 37 for Falador, and lastly 45 for the Camelot teleport. One alternative method during this section can be done at level 43 magic. Superheating Gold Ore gives a little bit better XP per hour than Falador teleports, but it's less than Camelot teles, so you really only want to do it for 2 levels until you can teleport to Camelot. From levels 55 to 65, you're going to high alch. I tend to alch longbows when I alch, just because they usually provide a low loss. But if you're willing to invest some time into researching current item prices, you could save a little bit of money from this method. If you don't have the Lunar Spellbook and you don't want to complete Lunar Diplomacy, I would suggest doing this method until 66 magic, not 65 magic. From levels 65 to 80, you're going to use the Bake Pie spell. This spell also gives some good cooking XP, the same amount you would get for cooking the pie. And when you're choosing a pie to cook, consider the best pie you can make at your cooking level for the most cooking XP, or you can check some of the prices to see which one you will lose less money on, because most cooked pies cost less than raw pies. If you decided you didn't want to grab Lunars and you went to 66 magic, you can now train from 66 to 80 by splashing Vulnerable or Enfeeble on the caged monsters, just like you did when you were using the Confuse spells. From levels 80 to 94, you're going to be using 2 different spells to train, High Alch and Stun. You can cast a Stun spell during the animation of your High Alch spell, effectively using both methods of training at the same time. This is very click intensive, but can provide a lot of XP. If it turns out you don't really like using this method, which is the case for a lot of people because it's fairly difficult to do, there are some alternatives coming up that you can use, plus some of the methods like just High Alching or baking pies for instance, are still solid methods to train, so you could use those too. From levels 94 to 99, you're going to use Ice Barrage on Maniacal Monkeys. These are ridiculously good XP because there's a ton of monkeys in the Agility Cave from Monkey Madness 2. So you're using Ice Barrage on a giant group of them, you can get some crazy XP rates for sure. But it can be very pricey, and it can also be very crowded because it's a popular place to train. So if it turns out it's too crowded, or you just don't want to do Monkey Madness 2, which is indeed a difficult quest, you can also use them on the monkeys in the cave unlocked from Monkey Madness 1, which is a little bit less XP, but still turns out to be a good training method. Here's a couple of alternative methods if none of the previous ones interest you. At level 80, you can use String Jewelry from the Lunar Spellbook. Stringing Jewelry is an AFK way to get some solid magic XP, but it is going to be a little bit pricey. At level 86, you can use Plank Make from the Lunar Spellbook. Plank Make provides very similar XP rates to Stringing Jewelry. The benefit of Plank Make is it costs a lot less than Stringing Jewelry, but it is a lot more click intensive, so there really is no AFK factor. If you're looking to train magic and make profit, I've got a couple of tips. There are some monsters like the Kraken boss, for instance, that require magic and they make good cash, but I'm going to talk about some non-combat methods. Crafting any type of orb provides good AFK money, and pretty slow magic XP, but you're still getting some magic XP while you do it. Which orb you should craft can depend on current prices, so you'll see me making fire orbs right now because they tend to always be around 500k an hour profit, but you might want to check some prices to see which is better at the time. Using the Mage training arena for Infinity Boots is not a bad way to make some money. Once you get an understanding of how to do it, you can get a pair of Infinity Boots in about 2.5 hours, which is currently 600k per hour profit. Again, you don't get a lot of Mage XP here, so I would not go all the way to 99 like this, but you can make a lot of money while still getting some magic XP. Tanning leather is another solid way to make some profit. This does require the Lunar Diplomacy spell, so you can use the Lunar Spellbook, but you can tan 6,000 to 7,000 hides per hour, which is around 100k magic XP per hour, being the best magic XP from these money-making tips. How much money you can make really does depend on the current prices, so be sure to check all the dragon hides and leather before buying. This wraps up the 1 to 99 magic guide right here, everybody. I do hope you got some good information from this one, and if you do have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments section, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Also, if you have any other training tips, leave those in the comments section too. We're all trying to learn the fastest way to get to 99 Mage here, so go ahead and leave us your advice. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and good luck with training your magic. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click on that like button and tell us what you enjoyed about it. If you're looking for some more RuneScape videos like this one, then be sure to join the cul-de-sac by subscribing for more. We will see you next time.